In this video, I will explain the patterns of the future tense and also my approach to the subject of conjugation. The way I like to think of it is if you imagine the word have on one side of the verb, like I have written or I have eaten, then we are talking about the past. If it is on the other side, we are talking about the future. Here is a little more about what I mean. As you may know, the words for have or has are o, I have, I, you have, familiar version, a, he, she, you have, polite version, and hanno, they have. I can use these to talk about the past, for example with the verb vendere, which means to sell, which gives us ho venduto, I have sold, hai venduto, you have sold, ha venduto, he, she, you have sold, hanno venduto, they have sold. If you take those sounds for the word have or has and place them after the final R of the verb vendere, we have these words. Venderò, I will sell. Venderai, you will sell. Venderà, he, she, you will sell. Venderanno, they will sell. This is not too difficult to do when speaking. There are two forms missing, which are we will and you all will. They do not really fit in with this approach. The we will form is venderemo, we will sell. The word for you all have is avete. The you all will ending is just the ete part, which gives us venderete, you all will sell. If you do not like this approach, of course, you can just learn the endings by rote. So, the patterns are: the endings are always the same, even with spelling changes in the stem. I shall explain a little more about that later. The stress is in a consistent place, on the endings. The endings are placed after the final R of the verb. Although the R is not part of the ending, you could train yourself to hear the sounds ro, rai, ra, remo, rete and ranno, and then you could immediately think of the future tense. There is one little issue with are verbs. The A changes to E in the future tense. This means that are verbs and ere verbs have the same sounds at the end. The way I like to think about it is if I take a regular verb or a regular sounding verb and swap the A and E over, keeping the stress on the A, we have one form of the future tense. For example, I can take mangiare, to eat, and swap the A and E over, which gives us mangerà. Note that the stress is still on a, mangiare, mangerà. This means he, she, or you will eat. Let's now look at some more examples. Here are three types of verbs, are, ere, and ire. You can see that mangiare and temere have an E before the R. Mangerò, temerò. Mangerai, temerai. For sentire, we have sentirò, sentirai, sentirà, etc. As you can see, they all have the same sounds of ro, rai, ra, remo, rete and ranno at the end. There are numerous verbs which have some spelling changes. Some are required to keep certain sounds so the verb sounds regular, for example, pagare, pagherò, cominciare, comincerò. There are three verbs that do not change the A to E, which are andare, dare, and stare, for example, dare, darò. There are other spelling changes like the E being dropped from some ere verbs or an L changing to an R, so watch out for those when you are learning new verbs. Just to reiterate, the endings are always the same. Now, there's one more thing. Although the future tense implies that it is used only for talking about the future, it is not necessarily so. It can be used for suppositions, probabilities and approximations. For example, someone could ask you, "Che ore sono?" What time is it? You could reply with, "Saranno le otto." It must be about 8 o'clock. or for sentences like, "Where could our friends be?" or "Robert probably wants to see you." The future tense is used for constructions like those, which I find to be most convenient. For expressing the future, the present tense is often used to express what you plan to do. For example, "Cosa fa lunedì?" What are you doing on Monday? Things can get complicated when you use certain time conjunctions like quando or subito che, where you may have to use the future or future perfect tenses, or even the pluperfect subjunctive when expressing future time from the perspective of a point of time in the past. But I will not be elaborating on that in this video, as there is quite enough information for now. I do hope that I've helped you remember the endings, and thank you for watching.